This video is on how to open for proper cleaning and maintenance of your Xbox One Slim. There are various different colors, but opening is virtually identical on all of the models for the Slims. Okay, on the back you'll find a warranty seal. Obviously, if you break that, you will void your warranty. You can pull that off, or you can take a spudger or something and just put a little bit of pry pressure here, and that will pop free. One second here. Alright, you're going to pull it down just past that. There's like a little clip right in here. I'll give you a good close-up of it in a second. And you'll go down. Then you'll have to get on the sides. The butter knife will work for this, but wouldn't really recommend it. You gotta be real careful. There's buttons and a USB port here. The bottom will come right off. Okay. So here's the front button here. You got your USB port here for the front. Now on the back, I was telling you about that little bump. It's this right here. It's just a little protrusion that slides right into that little slot right there. And if you remove the seal, you'll see a hole, obviously. You can leave it on or take it off, it doesn't matter. Once you pull that off, you've lost all your warranty through Sony or Microsoft anyway. If your box has bugs, don't waste your time mailing it off to Microsoft. They will void your warranty the moment you do it. Okay, now let's take a close look here. On this system, you'll note that there are green screws. These are the ones you want to take off. Nothing else. Nothing else. Alright, so let's, here I'll use a pin. You got one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. Now, you can use a T10 to remove all of them green screws. They're long, they look like that. Okay. For speed purposes, I'm going to do this with a drill motor. For removal only. Alright. Now, once you get them removed, this is not going to come off. So you have to take the top side of this off. Turn it around so that you're on the back side, and you will lift out a little bit like that. See that? I'm grabbing my thumb on this little tab here and just lifting up. Do the same thing on the other side. And that will pop free, just like that. You want to be gentle with it because there's buttons in the front that's got to clear, and that will come off, and you'll have all your power buttons and everything up in here. Okay, here's a disc slot. Alright, so once that's off, let's turn this way so you can see the front of it. Once that's off, this metal piece here is just a cover. It will come right off like so. Just set that out of the way. Now, when it comes to cleaning, you do not want to remove your power supply or your disk drive. If you're stupid enough to go inside your disk drive, don't be posting on my channel, my disk drive don't read anymore because I followed your tutorial, because I'm not showing disk drive repairs. Alright, for this system, this is for clean out, for preventative maintenance. If your system is red light not working or shutting off, a clean out has a possibility of correcting it depending on the circumstances. There's always circumstances. Sometimes a cleaning will repair anything that's wrong with your system. Other times it won't. Stay out of the drive. I'm telling you right now, stay out of the drive. Now, for cleaning of this system, you can use canned air, but it's best to use an air compressor that's not spitting water. Set it about 40 pounds. Put your finger inside the fan area and blow between the fan blades around. Change the location of the blade, blow through the fan blades around, and that will blow out the dust. And then just air compressor out around in here and everything else. Do not ever, 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 under any circumstances, blow air inside the slot of the disk drive. I guarantee you 9 out of 10 times it will quit reading games. Now, don't be posting, I blew air in the disk drive slot and now it don't work. Because I done told you not to. Alright, now these hard drives, although they do have a little filter in it, there's a hole on them. If you're going to air compressor off directly over the top of this, put your finger over that hole and then air compressor over the top. I know there's a filter in there, but you don't want anything being forced past the filter, and canned air or an air compressor will force stuff past that filter or blow off any dust that's on the opposite side of the filter back into the drive, in which case you might have some issues. Here's your power supply, you got your hard drive, you got your disk drive, and your fan. Now, if you're overheating and you get in here and you don't see a whole lot of dust, it's probably because the dust on this fan, due to the design, is going to build up on the bottom side of the heatsink, not the top. Right? And once you blow that out, if you're still overheating, turn it on, see if your fan's spinning. If your fan's not able to spin or is not spinning, then obviously you're going to have to replace the fan. But if it's real hard to spin and you had a lot of dust caked up, take your air compressor and work the fan back and forth. Don't get it spinning up 500 miles an hour. Work your fan back and forth until it feels like it's loose, to where it will spin a lot easier, and then try it again. A lot of times the dust will get caked up in the motor itself and stop it from spinning, so that could be an overheating issue there as well. Right? If you clean this system out I usually recommend once every 30 days. If you don't see any dust, then you can prolong that to once every 2 to 3 months. It all depends on your dust levels. I've seen some of these need cleaning literally weekly because it looked like somebody dumped a shovel full of dirt in the system. Now, if you smoke in the room with your game system, you're going to kill it. That smoke will get drawn in. It will coat everything in here in a tar layer, especially the heatsink. That tar layer alone will reduce its ability to cool and cause your box to run hotter. But the problem with it is that tar layer is sticky, so every little speck of dust that comes in and sticks to that heatsink will grab the next and the next and the next. And you'll notice, if you're a smoker, when you open your box, that dust in there will be brown and very sticky. Alright? Some people, when they open their systems, they only clean off the fan blades and the fan. You have to get air blasted through the vents of the heatsink to knock the dust off the other side. Otherwise, you're not doing any good. Okay? Now let's put this back together. It's not all that hard. This will go, excuse me, back on like this. There's a little spongy here. Let's show you that. There's a little bit of a spongy here that you'll have to get past. And that will set down just like that. Okay? And then to put this back on, you're going to put the front side on first and very gently manipulate it back into place. On the back side, you'll do the same as if you was taking it off. You're going to pull that out a little bit and make sure it sits nice and flush. Do the same with this side. Make sure it sits nice and flush. Flip it over. And now you're all back in place. You can put your screws back in. Go ahead and put all the screws back in. Now, when you're putting your screws back in, pay close attention. We're going to use a manual screwdriver this time, same bit, T10, not a security Torx, but you can use a security Torx. You're going to turn your screw to the left first until you hear a click that lines up the threads, and then you'll screw it down, and then just very lightly tighten it snug, not tight. If you don't do it that way, you're going to wind up cross-threading the plastic and stripping out your screw. If you over tighten, you're going to break that screw off and it'll be a nightmare for you to get it apart the next time. Okay, so we're all back on. You'll notice that there is one hole here. If your long screw don't go in, obviously you're in the wrong hole, but this hole don't go all the way through. So here's your X clamp. You got two at the front side of the box. On the back side of the box, where the ports are, you'll have three, and then you'll have one in the middle, right there, and that's it. All right. So we are done. All we need to do is put back on the bottom. Now, remember, there's a USB port here in the front. Let's get this a little bit over here. There we go. There's a USB port in the front that you want to be careful of, and there's a button here that's got to match up with your sync button here. So we're going to put the front on first. If you left this on, just pull it forward a little bit. Set that down in place and very lightly manipulate that back and forth until you get it to click into place. And then press down all the way around until it's completely flush all the way around with the white of the system. Okay? Then you are done. So, one Xbox One Slim or Xbox One S, cleaned out and ready to play for a very good long time. If you don't clean this, it will die. I am not joking. Microsoft, Sony, every game system manufacturer in the world, no matter what it is, if it has a fan that cools the system, when they put that warranty seal on the box, reduce the lifespan of your system by as much as 75% or more, depending on your air quality. Okay, that is an accurate figure in my guesstimation, and I'm actually giving them a little bit of favor on their side. I actually think it's considerably higher than that. On average, the lifespan of these systems is going to be 3 years with that warranty seal in place and you not cleaning it. With that warranty seal removed and regular cleaning and maintenance, the average lifespan of the game systems that are properly maintained will last on average 6, maybe 10 years easy, with very little to no issues whatsoever. Now, this is an electronic. Stuff fails. But more stuff fails if it's running excessively hot, and that heating and cooling of your game system being turned on and off plays heck on all of your components. So you want the system to be able to run properly. A lot of people ask me about fans, external fans that you can put on the system. Absolutely recommend against it. Repeat, against it. They're a waste of money. If you keep your system clean, it'll run and last longer than anything you've ever owned. You put one of them fan modifications or fan things on here, usually they're running off of a port that's pulling more energy through the system in order to run that extra fan. Secondly, the majority of them fans do not pull as much air as that stock fan will. So they actually hinder and slow down the airflow, not to mention being additionally loud. Others sound really good. They say they're thermal regulated. In other words, when they hit a certain temperature, they'll turn on, cool the system down, and then shut down. Them are the worst ones ever to buy. What they do is they intentionally block the airflow, force your box to overheat, turn on, cool it down quickly, and then shut off and then repeat the process. That is the worst thing in the world for your game system. The way these things are designed and programmed is to, when the heat of the system goes up, it'll hold it nice and level and try to keep it at a specific temperature as best possible through your gameplay. With one of them thermal regulated fans, the temperature of your box is going to swing way high. It'll get hot, cool down, get hot, cool down, get hot, cool down. Each time this thing heats up and then cools, you got expansion and contraction of the materials. You got components being subject to extreme heat, extreme cool, extreme heat, extreme cool, and that leads to component burnouts, cracking of solder joints all over the place. So don't use them. I need to clean this one up a little bit. We're going to get that back to our customer. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about on a different video coming up here soon about HDMI port replacements. This system was in for an HDMI port replacement. Stay safe, happy gaming, everybody.